Hello everyone, welcome back to another podfic. This one is Favour by megansabode. It is 2,423 words and it is a one-shot. Summary. I'm sorry. I know you'd get mad at me for saying that. Your new self would. Anyway, I don't like doing this on your birthday. It's cruel and I hope that's not the type of person I am. Happy birthday, Deku. Izuku. It's Katsuki's 17th birthday. The presents are ready, the cake is still in the oven and is forgotten about by the writer. And there's a letter in front of Katsuki's door with a box. A letter from Izuku. Izuku's leaving. Izuku's gone. Or an audio where Izuku becomes a vigilante on Katsuki's birthday and Katsuki also gets the best gifts from his classmates. Title: Party Favour by Billie Eilish. Katsuki didn't expect anyone to remember his birthday, or even know that it was his birthday. When it was his 16th, before he ever made any real friends, and the only thing he got was a note passed to him by his Deku in class. That was it. Nothing else, and he'd hardly expected birthdays to be a topic when there was about to be another war, battle, whatever it was. He was expecting a stupid card from Deku, and that was it. Maybe Azawa would know and say it to him while he sat in class, but he doubted Azawa cared enough to. He didn't say it to anyone else, as far as Katsuki knew. Class wasn't even the word Katsuki could use for the lessons he had nowadays. They were purely about strategy, readying the students for the war. That was it. That was all anyone cared about anymore. No more math, no more English, not even hero history. It was just training and strategy. Coming up with more ways to keep the League at bay, ways to combat them on the battlefield. Yeah, they were kids, but did anyone care about that? With the amount of heroes that retired after the first battle, Katsuki doubted he'd be able to retire out of this one anytime soon. Azawa had tried to fight with the school board on multiple occasions, pointing out how pointless and cruel it was to send 16 and 17-year-olds to a battlefield to fight to the death. The board had just said it was what the students would be doing anyway sometime soon, so why would they care? Besides, these kids already had provisional licenses, and in their eyes, that was enough to die. Usually, at this time of year, typically around his birthday, the new school year would start. That had been put on hold for UA and created a domino effect throughout Japan. The whole country had been thrown into disarray, and so had the Hero Commission after the president was killed. No, Katsuki was still in Class 1A, Class 2A was still out of his reach, but at least he could still pretend he was a kid a little longer. 17 was an age he wouldn't easily be accustomed to. 1 year after when adults start to care more about you, and 1 year before he would become one himself. Being the oldest in the class, he'd be the first one to adjust to this new way of living, and he couldn't say he believed it would be as easy as they made it look on television. No, Katsuki had to age. He had to fight in the war as a teenager. That was what was written in stone for him to do, and he couldn't rebuke his fate even if he tried. It ran in front of him like a story waiting to be told, and he couldn't snatch the word to make them anew. They would forever be unchanged, and so would he. He got out of bed, putting his school uniform on as per his usual routine. The UA gym was now closed off, probably because of how much he was using it after he got hit in the war. He and Kirishima always went down to it when they were just normal students, but after the third battle, Katsuki was entirely alone. Silence was his friend and his anchor in a lonely world. He didn't put on a tie, neither did he button up his blazer. His tie was stuck in the middle of his home, destroyed in the battle. Not that he minded, he never wore it anyway. Changing a routine wasn't something he would ever be accustomed to. He stepped out of his room, and that was when he saw it. A letter and a gift beside it. Katsuki's eyes narrowed, and he picked them both up. Bringing them back into his room, he sat on his bed and opened the letter first. The hurried and scruffy handwriting was familiar. Deku's handwriting. The same handwriting he saw each year on his birthday, without fail. Katsuki never gave a present back, or a card, or even a letter. He started reading. Karchan, you already know about one foot and all night and what I have to do. You already know about the threat posed by Shigaraki. I truly don't know what to put in this letter. It's mostly because I don't want you to get mad because you were left out, but also because it's your birthday and I wasn't able to get a card. I would apologise, but I'm sure you don't care. We've gotten close over the past year, but not close enough for any kind of greetings. The truth is, I'm leaving you in, and I'm going to be a vigilante. Whatever that means. I'm going to leave you, and I'm sure you like that. But something tells me whatever between us, whether good or bad, has changed. It's not safe here, with Shigaraki out there, looking for me, tracking me down. I can't put any of you in danger. You've already gotten hurt, and I can't let that happen again. Katsuki pretended not to care about the wet spots on the paper as he turned to the other side of the paper and tried not to imagine Deku crying while writing the letter. I'm sorry, I know you'd get mad at me for saying that. You know yourself would anyway. I don't like doing this on your birthday. It's cruel, and I hope that's not the type of person I am. Happy birthday, Deku. Hizuku. Right, so what was Katsuki supposed to do about that? He contemplated burning the letter, shoving it in the oven, chucking it off his balcony, eating it. Can you get a donkey to eat? He stared at the words, at the tears that covered the bottom, at the shakiness of the word Hizuku. Katsuki sighed, put the letter to the side, and opened the present. It was messily wrapped, as Deku's presents always were. It wasn't like he could ask his mother to wrap the present for the boy who'd bullied him for 10 years, and right now his mother was with Katsuki's parents. There was a box under the paper, UA branded. Was this a stupid merch item? Katsuki could get any of those if he tried from his closet at home. They'd probably be 5 sizes too big because of how long ago Katsuki begged his mother to buy them, but they were UA merch nonetheless. No, this was different. Katsuki took the lid off the box and found a tie. Deku's tie. Of course, it was Of course it was. Deku had undone it in a way that made the stupid way he tied it stick. It was so short and thick where the two ends met, and there was something written in the permanent marker on the other side. Katsuki turned the tie around. Because you never wear yours, Deku. Fuck. So he really was gone. He must have known Katsuki was long gone fucking stalker. Katsuki stared at the tie, then sighed, picking it up and putting it around his neck, pulling it taut and laying his collar over it. He didn't actually do his top button up. He needed to keep some semblance of his real self. Katsuki flattened the tie a little bit so it was thin and actually looked like a proper tie. Not because his classmates would notice if he did it exactly like Deku's tie. No, not at all. Then Katsuki got up and left his dorm, going downstairs. The hallways were empty as he descended down the staircase. As soon as he got to the common room where all his classmates were sitting with their letters, luckily he hadn't brought his down, which would stop Kaminari's incessant snooping. Bakugo. Oh. Kirishima looked at the tie, then back to Katsuki's face. Did you get a letter? Katsuki nodded and went into the kitchen. So you know that the idiot's coming. Yeah, I do. Kirishima's eyes narrowed. Katsuki got the milk out of the fridge and the half-empty box of cereal off the cupboard, and then looked out at his friend. What? He stared at Katsuki. What about all one? Midoriya's quack? Did you? I have known about that shit for months, Katsuki said plainly, tipping the cereal into the bowl and pouring the milk over it. Didn't need to be told again, Katsuki. All heads turned to him. What? You know? Nina screeched, making Katsuki's face hiss. What? You're the only one who knows his quirk? Shigaraki? All for one? All might? Yes. Katsuki said. The idiot almost told me the second day of school too. His nose at fucking self-preservation he's got. Kaminari ran over to him. So, wait, how long have you actually known for? Sora followed closely behind. Katsuki shrugged. Since the night of the provisional hero license exam, when he fought and got put on house arrest. Their jaws dropped. Todoroki was the next to walk over. So, Midori is not all my secret love child? Fuck no. Katsuki rolled his eyes. When you said that during the sports festival, I was shocked at how stupid you were as Izuku was. Todoroki stared at him. You heard? Katsuki hid his grin. You were spying on us. As if. You said it in a public space. You followed us. You're a stalker. Katsuki turned and glared at Todoroki, who just put his hands up in surrender. Kirishima cleared his throat. Aren't we forgetting something? That signalled Ashido to run over, holding a box, which soon turned out to be 2 boxes. We all got you together to give you a gift. Ashido said, sorry, it was all a whirlwind when we seemed like none of us really got a chance to give you a gift ourselves. So here's one. And she put the second box on top. This is for you, 16. Sorry, I didn't give you anything then. Katsuki stared at the boxes. How the hell did they know it was his birthday? Let alone all get together to give a gift to the one person who didn't deserve shit from the people he terrorized since the day he met them. Kirishima laughed. You can take them, man. Happy birthday. Katsuki nodded and took the boxes, putting them on the kitchen island. He started with the 16th birthday one, which was just from Ashido. It was an all-white figure. One to complete the collection she'd gotten a sneaky look at when she'd broken into his room to wake him up one morning. Thanks. She groaned. I hope it's the one. I had to ask Midoriya whether or not it was the golden age or the silver one age you didn't have. Katsuki nodded. This was the golden age one, which was far too expensive at the time. He had a feeling this was with other funds, the funds the students got for their weekly grocery shopping. A couple went out into the city for. Then he moved on to the next one. A big box. On top was a card that everyone had signed, even Deku. It contained little messages from everyone, and drawings from Zero, Jiro, and Koda. Then he moved onto the box itself. He tore it open with a knife and looked inside. Books. A lot of them. He took the first one out and found an analysis book of him by Deku. The next was by Uraraka, the next by Todoroki. Each of them piled up until he had an analysis written about himself by every single one of his classmates. Each of them was about something different to him. Sato had written about his cooking. Deku had done something about every single little thing. There were 2 books about him, one pre-UA and one over the past year. Todoroki was mostly about Katsuki's interaction with his sister, Yumi, and he had praised Katsuki dislikes towards Endeavour. Uraraka had written about Katsuki's interaction with Deku and his self-defense. Tokiyami's was about Katsuki's sleeping patterns. A little odd, but Katsuki found it fitting for who Tokiyami was. Kirishima's was a diary about when he went to the gym with Katsuki's, and Ashido's was about his visits to the girls' nights she held. Jiro was an introspective on all things music and included a QR code to a Spotify playlist with new songs she wanted Katsuki to listen to. It was a collection of everything his classmates had observed about him over the past year he'd known them. Almost everything about Katsuki's character was documented, and at the end of each page, a long message to Katsuki about how much they liked having him in their class. You didn't have to do this, Katsuki said, staring into the box, which was now messily filled with books he'd flicked through. I've never been this nice to you. You have your own way of being nice, Jirokama. We started all of this as a training practice, and you helped our group so much. It's obvious that you care about us. We wanted to show you how much we care about you too. Thank you, Katsuki said, slipping through silly tears. He wasn't the type of person to cry, but he'd never gotten a gift like this. Something so thoughtful. Something that truly showed him how much the people around him cared about him. Sad smiled. You need to give me that recipe for the food you cooked last week. By the way, I loved it. Katsuki let out a laugh. I'm pretty sure that was Todoroki's sister's recipe. Todoroki smiled. Later that day, Katsuki sat on the roof of the 1-8 dorm building, staring out into the darkness of the destroyed city of Mississauga. Before, there stood high office buildings, and now there was only rubble. The city that Katsuki had grown up in was gone, and so was the green-haired boy he had spent his time with over a decade. In the distance, he saw a strike of green lightning, and for a moment he believed it was a trick of light. No, a yellow coat followed a dark figure, and Katsuki sat up straighter, squinting to see who it was. In a gap in the trees, a figure paused, looked up at Katsuki, then ran away. Katsuki scoffed. That nerd. And that is the end of this fic. Woo! I've been meaning to read this one for like a week, but I was really, really busy. I personally love this. It makes me a bit sad. I think I cried a bit when I was reading it. I felt so bad for Katsuki. That's really sweet. It's on a bit of the longer side for my one-shots I normally read, but I don't really care. I want to do longer videos like this. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed, and see you next time. Bye!